the head of Cape University of Technology's Sports Department. A very good morning to you, Professor. What do the preliminary results indicate on the role that Rooibos can play in improving sports performance?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show. We've been doing research into herbal teas for over 20 years at CPUT, mainly in the Oxidative Research Center, which is headed up by Professor Marnowick. And recently we put our heads together to look at whether or not some of the other benefits we've been seeing in Rooibos could be beneficial during exercise. And we found under certain exercise conditions that Rooibos was particularly helpful in improving exercise.
Can you explain that a little bit more? So this is during exercise. Because of the fact that it is a caffeine-free drink, one would say that it's perhaps not the best thing to use during exercise because you actually want a caffeine boost when you are in the middle of exercise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is a caffeine-free tea, and the particular thing about exercise and sports performance is a lot of the work is done obviously during training, and athletes and sports people who train on a regular basis would go through sets or repetitions of exercise. And what we found, which is particularly interesting, is the fact that during repetitive bouts of exercise, when the participants in our study were ingesting or taking Rooibos tea, it was then that they had their improved performance compared to when they were taking the placebo. So it seems to have a benefit in repetitions of exercise.
Should final results show that Rooibos does indeed boost performance, what would it mean then for this proudly South African product?
Well, it's a very unique product, and I think it has two benefits, really. I think the most obvious benefit would be that athletes could identify a natural herbal product which is indigenous to South Africa and utilize it as part of their nutrition preparation in exercise and eating and whatever. But I think the other important thing is to recognize that the Rooibos industry, which is based in the Western Cape predominantly, would benefit from having a new application, if you like, with the use of Rooibos. So in a sense, there's an opportunity here to beneficiate Rooibos in a way in which we hadn't anticipated before.
Professor, can you maybe just unpack this a little bit more? You say that the benefits found in Rooibos in comparison to when those participants were taking a placebo was during repeat exercise. Is that at high intensity or just doing the same activity over and over again? So it's more complementing to endurance events?
Yeah, and that's a very interesting question, in as much that we initially felt that because oxidative stress is often induced during sort of aerobic type activity, that's where we find the big differences. But actually it was during intense, exhaustive bouts of exercise, the sort of thing you might do in a gymnasium if you're doing weight training or repeated bouts on an ergometer or a stationary bicycle. So it seems to be beneficial at the moment, from what we found, during intense bouts of exhaustive exercise.
This could have a major implication for those sports products that actually sell themselves on the caffeine content, because it's understood or generally accepted that it's the caffeine that you want during high intensity training.
Well, I think there are many products on the market with high caffeine content. I think they might make you dance faster, but I'm not sure if they make you exercise any better than you might normally would. And caffeine, as you might be aware, raises heart rate, which is not particularly attractive if you're exercising at high intensity, because you're obviously stressing the body. So the fact that Rooibos has antioxidants, this is the important thing, because when one exercises, one suffers oxidative stress, free radicals are produced, and if these aren't mopped up by the body's systems, then cellular damage happens. And it's really the antioxidative quality of Rooibos that we believe in, some of the unique compounds, the polyphenols, the flavonoids, the aspartame, that may be the factors that allow people to exercise repeatedly and perhaps recover better from exercise as well.
That's absolutely fascinating. I'm sure lots of people are going to have a cup of Rooibos tea before they go to their gym session a little bit later. Now, Professor, as we conclude this interview, this research comes at a time where South Africans are up in arms about the way that castor semenya is being treated by the IAAF. What other factors should the IAAF be aware of now with the imminent Court of Arbitration for Sport case coming up?
Yes, I mean, this is obviously a very topical issue, and the scientific sports community, I think, are unanimous in their view that the position taken by the IAAF is irrational and quite frankly ridiculous. The statistics are farcical, and I think it really is quite unbelievable that the IAAF have taken this position, and I really hope good sense prevails in this case and they reconsider their position on this matter.
Lovely stuff. That's Professor Simeon Davies. Thank you so much for chatting to us about the benefits of Rooibos, especially when it comes to sports performance.